So, ladies and gentlemen, listen up very closely because I am about to tell you the real secret on how to make passive income in 2023. And here is exactly how you do it. You don't. And before you click away and before you get upset because you have this imagery in your mind that you're gonna sit on a beach, live the laptop lifestyle, all you're gonna do is log in, check your PayPal, check your Stripe, check your bank account. And by the way, if you've ever actually worked from the beach, you know just how horrible it is. You got the sun in your eyes, you're sweaty, there's no connection. Like it's not practical in any form or fashion. But you have this idea in your mind because you believe that there's something called passive income when quite frankly there isn't. And I know that might be upsetting to some of you guys. And by the way, you know, for certain titles on YouTube, I might even use the term passive income, but I'll make it very, very clear very early on that it does not exist. And by the way, this is coming from someone who owns multiple software companies which are meant to be passive. You know, software, you just build it, you invest the money, you build it, and then it just grows and grows. Yeah, that's not really the reality. I have an e-commerce brand, Gadzhi. It's another one of those things where it's e-com, it's passive income. Ladies and gentlemen, no, it's not. And I even ran an advertising agency for 6 years. And I'll tell you, that was probably about as close to passive as I've ever gotten. And I'll tell you in just a second why that is. And by the way, this trickles all the way down to even real estate. Look, real estate is considered the truest form of passive income. And even that, you have paperwork to deal with, you have tenants to deal with, you have a whole bunch of headaches to deal with, even with the truest forms of passive income. Now, you can either continue to live in fairy tale la la land, or you can watch the rest of this video and I will give you a clear game plan on how to achieve passive income, or at least in your mind where you perceive to be passive income. And I'll give you a 12-month roadmap on how to actually accomplish that. Now, to give you a clear understanding of what passive income is actually like, it's kind of like if you decide one day that you never want to have to deal with running low on toilet paper. So you decide you're gonna buy as much toilet paper as humanly possible. And you might do pretty well. You might sell out a bunch of stores of toilet paper. Heck, you might even have a 12-month, a 18-month, a 24-month supply of toilet paper. But at the end of the day, that toilet paper runs out. At a certain point, the effort that you front loaded, because you put in a lot of effort on the front, and basically what you did was you bought yourself time. But eventually it's a ticking time bomb. So really what you're doing here with the idea of passive income is you're kicking the can down the road. Now bear in mind, I'm not saying that that's not smart. I do many things in my businesses, which means that I'm basically buying myself time. I know that, hey, eventually this thing will break and I'm gonna have to come in and repair it, or I'm gonna have to give it my attention again. But because I've taken this action today, this week, this month, that basically buys me time. That means that I have more time before I have to think about it or deal with it again. So as I said, stick around because I'm gonna give you a full 12-month breakdown on how to actually accomplish this stuff. If you are just at the beginning of your entrepreneurial ventures, you need to understand that your greatest asset is time. Why do you want to spend less time on your business? Why is that your focus when the most valuable thing that you have, and I'm not trying to be demeaning, I'm not trying to put you down, I'm just being very honest with you, your time is not worth much. So if you put a little bit of time into something and that time isn't worth a lot, well then of course you're not going to get incredible results in your life. So instead you want to be using your greatest asset, which is your time. And for some of you guys, that may just mean that you can only spend 3 hours a day or 2 hours a day on your business, but still do it. Don't avoid the work. Now eventually what happens is you start to build leverage. And true power in life is leverage. And there's no such thing as passive income. There is simply leveraged income. And there's really two main types of leverage. I'd say maybe a third, but for most people, it doesn't really apply. At first, the main source of leverage that you have is systems. You'll get to the point where you will start doing things in your online business and you'll build systems around them. Or maybe you'll start to automate them. Maybe you'll start to use some automations, and that is leverage. You might get to a point where you build a system to get customers, to get clients, and now the system is built, that's your leverage. That thing just kind of keeps running. And the second form of leverage, and this is the most powerful leverage by far, is team. And in the first 6 months, you don't really need to worry about this too much, but team could mean having a VA, it could mean having a contractor, it could mean having cheap interns, it could mean having employees, all the way up to employees who get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars, sometimes even millions of dollars. But obviously you don't need to worry about that now. I'm just trying to paint the picture that you have this idea of passive income. Oh, I'm gonna spend a little bit of time and I'm just gonna build passive income. But you need to understand that the world is a free market. That means that everyone is competing against everyone. And if someone else has more leverage than you in the form of systems, in the form of team, they are always going to win. And that's just a cold, hard reality of it. So now that you understand the two primary forms of leverage, which is systems and team, there's actually a third one, which is network. But most people will totally overestimate how important a network is for actually building your business or getting your business off the ground. It's actually very, very unimportant. The most important thing when you first start your business is just doing the work. But now I'm going to tell you how to actually achieve passive income in 2023, which basically just means leveraged income. Now, if you want more information, I go far more in depth on a YouTube video that I recently uploaded. This video has probably gotten the best response of any video I've ever uploaded. You guys seem to love it. Basically what I did was I locked myself in a room. I compared 8 of the best business models online and basically just ran through the pros and the cons and how to actually implement and have success with it. So I'll leave that as a top link in the description for your convenience. But in this video, to keep it short, I'm gonna give you a 2-part plan over the space of the next 12 months. So for the next 6 months, I need you to learn a skill. Ladies and gentlemen, there's actually a 4th lever that you can pull, which is capital. But obviously, I'm not really mentioning that because I know that pretty much all of you don't have a lot of capital to start. So it's not like you can just, invest 100,000 into some company and then that turns into 3 million. And even then, it's not that simple. You still need to have so much experience and so many skills. You could give $100 million to any random idiot, and I guarantee if they tried to invest it in companies, they'd lose it very, very quickly. So back to the point, for the next 6 months, you have to learn a skill. So first, you learn the skill, and then you apply leverage to that skill. So let me explain what I mean. I don't care what business you start, whether that's a online lean boutique agency, like I always recommend to people, or it's a drop shipping store, whatever floats your boat, it doesn't matter. The point is, at first you're gonna have to be a glorified contractor. You're gonna call yourself a business owner, but for the first 6 months, you pretty much have to learn the skills and do things yourself. When it comes to e-commerce and drop shipping, the best skill that you can learn is finding winning products. Because at the end of the day, you could have the best product on earth and some mediocre ads, and if you compare that to the worst product that the market doesn't really want, or maybe it's too saturated or whatever it may be, and the best ads, the best copy, the best creative, all this, the product that is better will always win inevitably. Now, when it comes to starting an online agency, the only skill that I always tell people, look, there's no avoiding it. You don't need to become the best of the best of the best in the world, but you need to at least just be competent. You need to at least be a 6 out of 10, and that is sales. If you want to start an online boutique agency or any sort of service-based business, whether you want to become an online coach, whatever it is, you have to at least have a rudimentary understanding of sales. You need to be able to tell your potential customers, your potential clients, why they should invest in your service or product. So for the next 6 months, the only thing you need to figure out is based on the business model that you decide to choose. And as I said, I would check out the video that I linked below to kind of help you come to a conclusion. Once you actually figure out what business model works for you, then you need to figure out what is the most important skill in that business model. And you need to focus and you need to hone in on that for the next 6 months. Then what's gonna happen is over the space of the next 6 months, it probably won't be your first week, it probably won't be your first month, but after a couple months, you'll start to feel like, oh wow, I really have the hang of this. I'm starting to get some success, I'm starting to get some customers, I'm starting to get some clients. You're gonna start making a little bit of money, you're gonna start to build some systems, and you're gonna kind of get in the routine and the flow of things. And then the next 6 months, you're gonna start to apply leverage. Now for me, the best and the most powerful form of leverage that you can possibly have is hiring a team. Now, once again, don't let that scare you. I'm not talking about payroll, whatever it is. I'm saying that, let's say you use certain softwares or you use certain tools to find winning products. Well, then you can hire cheap VAs to basically buy back some of your time. Because now, unlike the beginning, right at the beginning when you first start, your time is worth practically nothing. Whereas now, your time actually leads to money. When you spend time on your business, it actually leads to you getting paid. So for that e-com example, or let's say, for example, you're running an agency, if you're spending time finding clients, if you're lead sourcing, if you're putting together lists of potential clients to work with. So really in the second phase, what you're trying to do is buying back time. And after your first year of trying to build passive income, I'll refer to it as that, but we both know what I really mean is leveraged income. And as I said, after the first year, after the first 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, basically each year, all you're doing is you're just spending more and more and more money to buy back your time, to build leverage. And then eventually what's gonna happen is you are the bottleneck to your business. There's only so much time that a person can spend, and that's really where you hire even better team. And the truest form of passive income is when you have an amazing team. And by the way, I can tell you right now, if you pay people salaries and you just decide you're gonna move to Bali, you're gonna live a laptop lifestyle, and you just expect your team to work and nothing else, and they just know that they are working, they're making you rich, and that's about it, that will never work. So you either have to make sure that you are still involved in your business, or the other option is you give people percentage of profit share. So whatever the company makes, they get a percentage of profit. Now, in some businesses that makes sense, whereas in some businesses it makes more sense to give your team equity. Now, I personally don't like that. Of all my companies, the only place I do that is in my software companies. In general, I much more prefer a profit share model. Now, I know that maybe for some of you guys, you're watching this and this video feels a little underwhelming to you, and you just wanted the secret, the one little hack, the trick, how do I make passive income in 2023? And here I come bursting your bubble, telling you that to get to this idea of passive income you want will take at least a year, and then it'll actually take many, many more years to truly live a life where you have passive income. And by the way, I have been in the world of business. I've been running businesses for 6 years. If I fell asleep for a year, I would wake up and I would have made collectively between the businesses well over 8 figures in profit. And my main software company, at the growth rate we have, I could probably sell it in a year for $150 million. But ladies and gentlemen, that's 6 years into this journey. I can tell you right now that even 2 years ago, if I stopped working, if I walked away from the business, maybe 1 month in, we wouldn't notice. 2 months in, we'd start to notice. 3 months, we definitely notice. By month 4, probably the company would be collapsing. And that's just the truth of passive income. Really, all passive income is building leverage, is building systems. And all you're doing is you're kicking the can down the road. You're buying yourself time. So ladies and gentlemen, long story short, put your head down, focus, stop looking for the easy options, for the easy routes out. I can tell you right now, when you get to the top of the mountain, making money really is as easy as everyone makes it out to be. When you've been in business for 3, 5, 10 years, and you're actually dedicated to business as a sport, it's genuinely like being a professional athlete. You have to give it that level of dedication. And I'm being completely honest, after 5 years, making money is so easy. You'll start to realize that there is money in literally every single direction you look. But for the first year, 2 years, it is a grind. It is you earning your stripes, putting your head down, and focusing on building the main thing, which is leverage. So that way you can make leveraged income rather than this whole BS idea of passive income. And on that note, go ahead and implement the 12-month framework I told you about, and I'll catch you in the next video.